Katy Perry goes up in space, only to crash land and as her and Orlando Bloom break up. Coincidence? Well, let's find out. I got my co-host Jay over here, you got Mr. Mafuchi, we're gonna give you the hot goss. But before we do, please, if you make it to the end of the show, consider a like and a subscribe. Definitely. Let us know that we are doing a good job, or let us know that we're not. Either way, tell us all about it. Now, let's explore Katy and Orlando's universe, shall we? Let's go! Now, I'm sure all of you want to find out why they broke up, but let's get into the beginning, when they met, because that's important too. So, in January of 2016, they met at the Golden Globes afterparty. Now, at the time, Katy Perry was 31, Orlando Bloom is 39, so there is an age gap. I always bring these up because Jay loves the age gaps, as you know. So, in February 2016, they quickly dated. So quickly, and so much of an impression that Katy made on Orlando, that Orlando introduced her son to Katy. And that was quick. That's like a month or less that Katy already met Orlando's son from his previous marriage. Wow. You usually have to wait a little bit for that moment, but okay, they move fast. Now, in May 2016, they did make their relationship official on where else? On a platform, Instagram this time. Other people do it on Twitter, and I don't know what else is there. Facebook. I mean, if you're elderly, sure, you want to do that for the people. But a year later, in February of 2017, they did break up. Now, the leading rumor here is that Orlando gave Katy an ultimatum because he was tired of playing her cat and mouse games. Now, for all of you that don't know what that means, a cat and mouse game definition is a series of cunning maneuvers designed to thwart an opponent. Definitely a big red flag if you're going to be in a relationship, okay? You don't want to perform actions to your partner that both of you don't agree on and you want to play a game. We don't play games. And also on a serious level, it turns out that they're very busy, so their schedules just conflict to where they're not spending enough time together. And I'll give it to them in this point. They both saw that this was going to be an issue, that they're not going to spend enough time together, so they decided to break clean. Besides that rumor with Orlando with the ultimatum, nonetheless. So Jay, you heard all this information from meeting to the first breakup. I'm going to say this right now. This is the first breakup. So what do you think about all this, Jay?
So, as we all know, whoever watches the channel, whoever knows me, I don't like age gaps, or that big of an age gap. And like I said, I've said in other videos, as far as when celebrities get together, if your schedules are so busy or so opposite, you're going to have time to either meet each other on either whatever it is that you're doing. If she's on tour, meet her somewhere on the tour. If he's filming a movie or something, get it on set or some point where they can spend some time together that way. I was watching Sterling K. Brown and his wife, Ryan Michelle. I can't pronounce her last name. I think it's Bethany. And when he was shooting Army Wives, they had like a 6-week rule where they can't go that long without seeing each other. This is what you need to do if you are in this industry, as far as, okay, if we're going to be together, we need to work out some type of time frame where we can't go past without seeing each other. And I don't know if a lot of celebrities do that or not, but I think that's a smart thing to do, which I've said in other videos. But yeah, the breakup thing, I'm not mad at him because a lot of women give ultimatums and the guy says, okay, whatever. And then he'll do the opposite and then she'll still stay with him, whatever the case may be, and didn't really put her foot in the ground, as they say, right? So if she really was playing a cat and mouse game with Orlando, I understand completely, because only junior high and high school kids play games. You don't play games as an adult. So I understand it very completely. And he's been married before too. So he's all about, okay, I'm taking this serious. You need to take this serious too. If not, we need to part ways. So I completely understand and 100% agree with that.
Now, somebody's usually, when two people break up, you think that's over with, okay? It should have been done right there after a year. But no, we got follow-up. Of course, that's why you're here, right? So, in February of 2018, 1 year later after their breakup. It just so happens that Orlando was vacationing, and hey, Katy Perry was performing close by. So, with knowing this information, Katy decided to just pop in with Orlando. And hey, you could pretty much tell what happened next because old feelings came up. So, in February 14th, 2019, yes, Valentine's Day, 1 year later. Again, they love to do these things in a year. On Valentine's Day, they got engaged. Now, here's the thing about that. When you get engaged on a holiday, yes, women consider Valentine's Day a holiday. If it doesn't work out, you have to figure out the legalities now if you can get the ring back, because that's where it stands. So that is the thing. Ultimately, on the second time that they rekindled, 1 year, they're engaged, and I guess if you want to count the previous year, they've been together for 2 years total? So I don't know how that works. You do the math, let us know in the comment section, because I'm not understanding this. I don't know how you gauge this. Now, in March 2019, they moved in together. They just figured, okay, this is the next step. Now, here's something interesting, because Orlando sold his house and moved in with Katy. Now, the only thing I'll say about this is I much prefer to have a neutral site, in the sense that you probably don't want to move into somebody else's house because they already have rules and guidelines. Sure, we all encounter the fact that they'll be a little lenient, whatnot, when you move in, but ultimately, once you get settled, those guidelines are going to get strict after a while, and then the other person who owns the house, they're probably going to tell you, hey, you've been here long enough to know the rules and guidelines. So if you can, both of you get into a new home. I know, easier said than done, okay? I'm not Mr. Moneybags here, Jay isn't either, but if you can. Now, the last thing is, on March 2020, they did announce that there was a baby on the way. And not to mention, they had to postpone their wedding because everything was set. They were gonna have a destination wedding in Japan and 150 guests. But unfortunately, like most of us in this time, coronavirus happened, things had to come to a halt. I can't necessarily blame them there because, yeah, things had to stop. We had a virus going on, but they were almost wed. It didn't happen. Now, Jay, I mean, they got back together. Everything happened quickly, and now there's a baby on the way. Let us know what's up.
So, two things that stuck out to me there was him moving in with her. I don't like that, as my wife calls it, shacking up, right? So, if you're gonna move in with her, right? And I agree with Mafuchi. You guys need to get a neutral place where you guys can call it home. Because a lot of people, once they get upset, they'll say, get out of my house, X, Y, and Z. Well, that's just my culture, all right? So, they should have, and they got plenty of money, right? So, it's not hard to find a house together. It might be hard to find exactly what you want unless you're gonna custom build it. But with their money, they could find something easy peasy, right? So that part, they should have found a place together. Two, maybe COVID was a blessing for them because one, they're breaking up right now. So right, so imagine they were already married. That means you have to go get a divorce, decide who's getting what, is anyone paying alimony, child support, whatever the case may be, right? So it's probably a blessing that they didn't get married. So, but they really wanted to get married. They could have went to a courthouse when the whole COVID thing kind of calmed down, where you could have went to a courthouse, got married. But apparently it was not that important. I don't like the aspect of a destination wedding. Why do you need to have a destination wedding? Why is that important? If you really love each other, go to a courthouse, get married. If you're gonna have a big reception later, fine, right? But I always thought that was just stupid. You know, usually rich people do all that type of stuff anyway, but it's whatever. But yeah, that was my thoughts about that. I didn't understand the moving in part because that didn't make any sense, especially if you broke up before. Have you guys discussed how you are when you move in with each other and stuff like that? And then destination wedding, care less about it. If you love each other, go to a courthouse, have a party later on.
Well, some buddies, they're married, they're moved in together, and they have a baby on the way. So it should be a forever joy, right? It's going to be a Disney ending, happily ever after. But you're not here for that, okay? Why? What happened? Why'd they break up? Now, I think we all know about the spaceflight with Katy in April 14th of 2025. It was an all-female crew, okay, but along with Gayle King and Lauren Sanchez, they went up in the air in space for 8 minutes and came back down. What the hell, okay? That's the backlash that everybody gave to those three women, because it just seemed like it was a bunch of rich people flexing their wealth. Ultimately, what was the purpose of going up there and coming back down when everything in the world is not going well, especially in the States? So a lot of backlash for all those three, but especially Katy. It kind of stressed her out because she didn't understand and she really didn't know how to react. So that happened with her. In June 26th of 2025, after 9 years being together, so we are counting that first year before they broke up, they broke up again. Here are some of the reasons that are given. Again, they're still two very busy people, so their schedules did not allow them to be together often. Not to mention, they're both in demand, so their careers were not going to wait for their marriage and their relationship, which doesn't always work out right. So you really have to get a handle on that. Like Jay has mentioned, both of you need to have a conversation, try to figure out how to spend as much time together as possible. Again, two A-listers, it just wasn't working out. And that sucks because you don't feel the love, you don't feel the cohesiveness on a screen. You could only do so much on FaceTime or however you communicate. I know Jay has an Android, so I don't know how that works. But nonetheless, with Katy, there was a lot of stress that was going on, especially she was getting negative reviews for her current album 143, along with her tour. It wasn't going well, so that kind of caught up with her. And of course the space travel and the backlash said that didn't bode well either. She was just feeling all this all at the same time. And one of the final things, as we kind of brought up, which is coronavirus halted the first attempt at a wedding. But both of them never really made an attempt to get married again. So after 6 years of being engaged, they just never went through with the marriage. They never walked down the aisle. They never set a date. And ultimately, at the end, I mean, if both of you are not married officially, I don't like to say this, but it kind of makes it a little easier to break up. And that could be what happened here. Your schedules just don't match. And again, there was a cat and mouse game early on with Orlando. This is the second time that they're breaking up. Everything just caught up with them. And now they have a baby to, I guess at some point they have to explain it, right? But it didn't work out.
All right, so I don't care about the everyone going in space. You got money, you wasted it, fine, whatever. My thing was, when I think about Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom, only thing that comes to mind for me is he was in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Her big hit was I Kissed a Girl Not Like It, right? So when I think about them now, it's what when Katy Perry was on that podcast, Call Her Daddy. Now, if you know, you know, right? That clip went viral.
One of my love languages is acts of service. So it's like if I come downstairs and the kitchen is clean and you've done it all and you've done all the dishes and you've closed all the pantry doors, you better be ready to get your dick sucked. I mean, like literally, that is my love language. I don't need a red Ferrari. I can buy a red Ferrari. Just do the fucking dishes.
I'm obsessed.
I will suck your dick. It's not easy. Sorry.
And as far as that goes, that's all I think about them when I think about them in that context. And then I saw a clip recently where they were on some kind of red carpet or whatever, and then she was trying to kiss him. You could tell he didn't want her on him, giving him a kiss. I was like, the writing's on the wall even then. I don't know how long ago that clip was, but and now he's putting out cryptic, I don't know if it's tweets or what platform he was on, right? but he's putting out cryptic messages, right? You can tell if you're really paying attention, and it was probably going downhill for a long time, and it just came to pass. So there you go, when you're shacking up and not getting married. Now you think about being married, but you're having kids out of wedlock. But I digress. But you know, maybe COVID for them was a blessing, because it could be a lot worse. It could be a lot messier depending on how much they are not getting along at this time.
Alright, somebodies. Thank you so much for sticking with us. We had to give you the hot goss, of course. Now you know why that didn't work out. And hey, since you're here, how about you click a like, or click a subscribe, or click both? Why not? We're here for you. Click one for each. Click like for Jay, click a subscribe for me. It just works out. And by the way, we also have a comment section down below. Let us know what you think about this relationship. Were you in it? Was it not surprising between these two? I mean, let us know. Was there information that we just don't know about? Put it all below. We love to read it, and we definitely reply to you. So, that's my boy Jay. I'm Mr. Mafuchi. We'll see you next time.
Later.